Welcome to Keep Creating. I'm Kim Parkinson, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about ribbon. We have all different types of ribbon here at Kept Creations. We have grosgrain, satin, lace, sheer, in all different shapes, sizes, and colors. We'll be creating two little projects using ribbon today on the show, as well as introducing you to Donna Maligno, a local entrepreneur who's created a clever little tool to make bow making easier. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Keep Creating. I have with me today a special guest, Donna Maligno, the inventor and creator of the Crafty Bow, and she's here to show us how to make some easy bows this holiday season.
Thanks, Kim. Thanks for having me. I'm very well, thank you.
Great.
I'd like to talk a little bit about the Crafty Bows and why I made it, because there are a lot of people who are bow challenged in the world. I didn't realize this until I was a teacher. So I created a Crafty Bows. It will make 12 different size bows, and it has a handy ribbon for hanging when you're not using it, and there are two really great features. First of all, there's a little plug at the top, and inside are two steel dowels so that everything is self-contained. And I like to put the plug back because it tends to get lost on my work surface. You know how that goes. The other feature is the steel dowel, so that when you're creating a ribbon or a bow, it's easy to slide them right up off those pegs.
Great. Can you show us how to make one?
I would love to.
Fantastic.
Let's start with the smallest bow, which is 1 inch. What I like to do is I cut my ribbon about 8 to 10 inches long. You don't have to. After the first time, you probably won't measure anything. You take your ribbon, you place it against the dowels into a U shape, and then you cross one tail over the other. It doesn't make any difference which one it is. Take whatever tail is on the top. You want to tuck it underneath the ribbon that's already on the dowels and pull it through the dowels. So now you have a tail in each hand. The tail that's closest to you, you're going to go up straight through the dowels and around the back. And you're just going to simply wrap that around to tie a single knot. And as you're pulling it, you want to tighten it. You always want to go straight out from the sides, Kim. If you try to go up here, your knot will wind up on the top and you'll have a very wonky bow. So we're going to tighten it, and as I'm doing that, I'm watching the knot in the center. Make sure it stays in the center. And I'm going to pull tight when I'm ready. That's as fast as it goes.
Wow, nice and simple and easy.
And you have your tails in the back where they belong. So many people complain, I can make a bow by hand, but one tail is always flapping out and around in the front. So.
And I see you've brought me some samples here to show a couple of other different sizes that you make.
I have. It actually makes 12 different sizes, Kim, but they're very small increments, and it depends on the size of the project you're working on. So what I've created for you here is a tiny 1 inch bow using 1/4 inch ribbon like this. This looks a little narrow because it's a sheer ribbon, but that's a 1 inch bow. Then I went to about a 1.5 inch size bow, but it's multiple loops. And it's a very soft sheer fabric. Some of the fabrics you carry here in some of your ribbons, so they're really nice. This is the largest bow, and I've only made it 2 loops wide. But if we get a chance, I'd really like to show you how to create, make a package and wrap it using a multiple loop bow. But those are all the sizes that we have created. Not all of them, I shouldn't say that, from 1 to the largest.
Now, can you tell me if there's a special type of ribbon that we should use to make a bow?
Most ribbons, other than double-faced satin, that's about the only ribbon, Kim, that I can think of that I would say stay away from. It's too slippery.
Okay.
Grosgrain can be a problem, but a lot of the grosgrains they're making now are much softer, so they do make very pretty bows.
Okay.
So.
And we have a lot of different ribbons here at the store, too.
Yes.
So
we've got a lot of beautiful ribbons. I go over there and drool every time, Kim. So if you don't mind, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make you a larger bow. And what I can do, you can move these dowels in any position, including on the diagonal. This is the largest bow that it makes, which is 4 1/4. Now we're going to wrap a gift. And what I've done first...
Oh, this is perfect for the holiday season.
Absolutely. What I've done is I've wrapped the gift and I've tied my ribbon around it with leaving very long tails. Okay, let's put that aside. Now we're going to make the bow that goes on top of it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have a length of the ribbon out on one side, and I'm just going to, with my right hand, wrap it around the dowels, and it will slip because they're steel dowels. I'm just wrapping it around and around, and I think I'll just stop there. And I'm just going to even up my ends a bit. This has a slight wire in it, so it's really not going to go too far. So I'm going to even up my ends, and I'm going back to the U shape.
The same way we did before. Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to retrain yourself every time you make a different bow.
That's nice.
So I'm going to cross one tail over the other like I did the last time, and I'm going to take the tail that's on the top, and I'm going to tuck it underneath the ribbon that's already across the dowels. Just push that down, pull it toward me the way I did the last time. The one that's closest to me is going up and over, and I'm going to tie a knot. And again, single knots only. The only time you need double knot is if you're doing either a tassel or double-faced satin, which we've already explained that we don't really like to play with. So you notice how tight I'm pulling that, and I'm going straight out from the sides. Well, that's all done, and the thing that's going to take me the longest is to fluff out the loops. I'll do a couple here, but I'm going to show you a finished project once it's all done. But this can be all fluffed out, and I just wanted to show people how it's actually attached to the package. So get that last little loop out. It takes you longer to fluff than it does to make the actual bow. I would fuss with it more, but I want to in the interest of time. We're going to take our bow, place it on the top of our package, take those two long tails that we had, and just tie a single knot.
To hold it in?
To hold it in.
Oh, isn't that simple and easy?
And then what I do, I trim the ends, and I usually put like a little clip in the center, and there you have a beautifully wrapped package.
Fantastic.
It's that easy.
Easy for the holiday season, easy
Absolutely.
for birthday gifts.
Absolutely.
Nice and simple, and a perfect bow every time.
Every single time. I could do 10 of these or 100 of these, and they'd all come out the same size, very even.
Excellent.
So it's a great, great tool for that.
Now, I know that this tool also makes tassels.
It does.
Perfect for graduation cards or for anything else.
Absolutely.
Now, a tassel is something that I would, if somebody came in and said, I need a tassel, I would probably tell them I have no idea how to make a tassel. I'm very crafty, but it would take me a little while to figure out how to make the correct tassel.
Well, that's when you would whip out the crafty bows.
So this is a great tool to be able to show them because it looks very easy when you make it.
It is, and people are always amazed. When we make tassels, Kim, most schools have two colors, so you can combine the colors when you're making a tassel.
Great.
We do have a sample here with just a solid color, but with schools are double colors. So what I've done is I've used a glue dot, and I've attached the handle to my tassel right here. Then I'm going to take two of the colors together of my embroidery floss, and I'm going to make it just like I did a multiple loop bow. I'm going to hold the long tail out here, and I'm going to merely wrap it and wrap it and wrap it as many times as I want. We'll stop there. It's just to get the idea. Then I'm just going to cut off the excess. And we're back to the U shape that I showed you before. Nothing new. Crossing one tail over the other, tucking one underneath, pulling it toward you. Now, if this were a bow, I'd be tying it in the center, but it's a tassel, so we're going to just walk it right over to the left-hand dowel, because that's where the handle is, and I'm going to tie a knot. And this is about the only time I ever tell people to tie a knot, because you want that tassel to stay right where it is. So I'm tying a nice tight knot. This is part of my tassel, Kim, so that's going down here. Now we're going to pay attention to the handle. So I'm going to pull it off the pop dot, get rid of the pop dot, if I can pull it off. There we go. And just kind of straighten this out a little bit and just tie a single knot, okay? That's my handle. This is my tassel. I'm going to slide it up those wonderful steel dowels, and then we're going to trim our tassel.
How simple and easy is that?
Isn't that cool? So
Fantastic.
You could make dozens and dozens and dozens of these, and that's what it will look like. They all come out the same way.
Excellent. I love it. What a great little tool you have.
Thank you. I like it.
So you have already made a couple of other pieces here as well.
We have.
Perfect for gift giving.
Yeah. People might notice we have a rather large bow here. Remember I said to you, you can only make a 4 1/4 inch size. That's the largest?
Yeah.
Well, we discovered that by putting two crafty bows together end to end with a piece of Velcro in between, stuck them together, you put one dowel here and one dowel over here, and that's the size bow you can make.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
And now I see you have a lot of different cards made with all sorts of different types of ribbon.
Yes,
and all different types of bows. And you've even made some little wire
dragonflies. Yep, creatures, dragonflies. You can make butterflies. You can make wire flowers, as is evidenced down here. That's a wire flower. I don't know if you had seen that one.
Perfect way to add just a little touch of elegance and just a little bit more special tip to your gifts.
Absolutely.
Your cards, your pieces.
One of my favorites is wrapping a wine bottle.
Just
in
nice and
ribbon,
simple.
just make a bow. Why go out and buy a bag? Right.
Great gift just to give for any occasion.
Absolutely.
You could even do, you know, a different type bottle for summertime or anything like that.
Absolutely. You can also use it for making headbands for little girls. Go to the dollar store, get a headband, and you can just match it to the little girl's outfit.
Great.
And
Excellent.
she's all set.
Well, thank you so much for sharing today.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it, Kim.
Absolutely. Welcome back. I'm again here with Donna Maligno, and we're going to show you a couple of things to make with ribbon. Now, we carry a large assortment of different types of ribbon here at the store, some of which are rickrack, sheer, twine. We have laces, tulle, grosgrain, satin, sheer. Can you think of anything I'm missing?
Sequin.
Sequin.
You bet. And the leaves.
We have lots of different types of leaves. So we're going to show you two different projects today. One really simple and quick, and one we're going to do an entire tag that would make great gift thank you to from on a gift tag. So the first one we have is using an iCraft dot. This is just a little dot, little circular dot, and it is for making this type of flower right here. Now, Donna, can you show me how you're going to do this today?
Sure, I'll be very happy to. What I've done is I've selected the 1.5 inch size of the glue. It's actually basically a flat glue dot, and I'm going to peel off the protective coating. Then I'm going to start on the outside with this beautiful Mayarts ribbon, and I'm just going to press it around and around. Sometimes the ribbon twists a little bit, so you've got to untwist it. And just keep going around in a circle. Now I'm going to come in a little bit closer inside the ribbon, or the flower that I'm making.
The great thing about this glue dot is it's double-sided too.
Exactly. It sticks right where you put it, and this ribbon is staying right where it should be.
So this is an easy card to make.
Oh, super easy.
You could add these to your gifts as well.
There's my flower, but it needs a center, so I have a little bit of glue still there.
Add that right to it.
There we have it.
Nice and simple and
Completely.
easy. Now, I also have another project that I would like to show you guys today, and we are going to, I've done a couple of them on different holiday seasons. So I have a Halloween, a Thanksgiving, and a Christmas one. And this is simple and easy. The one we're going to make today is for the Christmas. And what I need to show you is the first step. Our first step that we're going to do today is just take any type of paper, and we need to add a little bit of color to it. So the first thing I need is a little bit of an ink, and I have here just a little spray, and I'm going to uncap that, put a little piece of paper underneath me just so I protect my work surface, and I'm just going to give it a little spray. Now this just takes a few minutes to dry, so because I need the drying time, what I have is already pre-done one, and that is already dry for you here. The next step to this is to add a little bit of glitter, and I have just a couple of different types of glitter here, and this is a glass glitter. It's really nice and chunky. It's just going to add a little sparkle to your design. So we have a little bit of adhesive that we're going to find the end to right here. Unwrap that just a teeny bit, and it's double-sided, sticky on both ends. I'm going to place that right down onto my tag, just press nice and flat, and then I'm going to peel off the top layer of the adhesive, and that's going to leave a sticky spot right here on my piece. Once I have my little sticky on my tag all done, I'm going to take my glass glitter that I already have out in a little container here, and I'm going to just spread that right on top of that, and it's going to stick right to that one area. And then I can tap that right on off. And you can see how really nice and sparkly that is. It just adds a little bit of sparkle to your tag. Now, in order to get this to be just a little bit more dimension, a little bit more something to your image, to your tag, I just went ahead and I just drew a little dots and dashes all around the outside edge, and I had already done one side, so I'm just finishing it up, nice and simple. And now I'm going to take that same adhesive that I used, and I'm going to lay down a nice piece of ribbon along the bottom edge. Again, this is great adhesive, it just tears right off. And we're going to take this and we're going to place that right on, just like that. Peel it off. Once it's on, it usually peels right off nice and simple. You might have to rub it a little bit with your hand, but most often just comes off like you see here. I'm going to take my ribbon, place that right on down, and I'm going to have that added right to the bottom of the tag, just like that. Now I have a little bit of extra, just cut that right off, this side and on this side. Take care of those. We're going to have another piece of this, and this is the last time we're going to use this adhesive for this particular project. Another piece of this adhesive, and right along the top edge of that last piece of ribbon, I'm just going to place that right there. And now when I peel that off, it's going to be sticky again. And this time I'm going to place this beautiful rosette ribbon. Has a little sheerness to it, but it's got some roses. And you can see that we've already pretty well gone through most of the base of this particular tag. And now we're just going to add on a few more embellishments to it. So the next step I'm going to do is I have here just a little bit of some paper, some that I've cut out, and it's about the same color as the cream in the ribbon. And I'm just going to edge it with a little bit of black. I'm going to take the ink and just go around the outside edge, just like that. If you wanted to, you could also do that to the tag. Just adds a little bit more texture and color to that, just like that. I'm going to take our adhesive. This is just a double-sided adhesive. And this one here, it's very similar to this. This one here is just on a roll. You just roll it on, and it's nice and easy and simple. It's just not as strong, so that's why we use the other one for the ribbons. I'm going to add that right on, just like that. Again, it's just another added touch. I have here a little piece. This is made by Petaloo, a company that makes all different types of flowers and little doodads. And this one is a little bit smaller than an artist trading card size. Comes with some glue dots or pop dots on the back already. And I'm just going to use this little image in my design. I'll place that right on down there. Now I could write to and from and add a little bit more to my image so that I could give this as a gift tag. But for this one here, I'm going to finish it up with a couple of extra pieces. I have this wonderful ribbon here that I have some snowflakes out. I have cut some snowflakes out of. And you can see we have several different types of that kind of ribbon. So here's some holly leaves and some snowflakes. Our roses came on a nice big roll just like this as well. And what we're going to do with the snowflakes is cut them out and add them right to our design with just a little bit of glue. And this is a wet glue. I know I've used several different types of glue, but if you just have one kind, you have a tendency to need a different kind. So we have wet glue for anything that might be fabric and dry glue for anything that might be paper. That's probably a good rule of thumb. And I actually have a few buttons that I'm going to add as well. And I know that I just said wet glue for fabric, but the buttons just need a little bit of something extra to hold on to. So I'm going to actually give you big dollops of glue right there. And when I do that, those buttons are actually going to fit right on top of them, and it's going to hold the buttons very well. Here we go, right like that. Oh, one more, there we go. So I think the last step that I have is just these holly leaves that we have, and I'm just going to cut these right out of the ribbon, and they just come all along one strip, and I just cut out the leaves themselves. When I cut out the leaves, I'm able to just adhere those right onto the back of the tag. So just because they're a little bit of a fabric, I just add a little bit of adhesive to the back, and then I'm going to slide that little holly leaf right underneath so that it sticks out just a teeny bit. And you're going to see that I'm going to finish off this tag with just a little bit of extra embellishments, just something extra and something, just that little bit of excitement that you might need just so you know that you've made and handmade something today. So this is your tag, and you can see that I have made several. If you wanted to, we also have a glimmer shiny mist here, and you can, it's a glitter dust, it's iridescent, and you can add that right to it, and you can actually get a nice little bit of glitter and shine to it as well. I think I need to add just one more little embellishment to this beautiful tag. So what I'm going to do is make you a rose. Now, you can make these type roses out of the embossing powder, and one of the things that I showed you in our first pilot episode was how easy embossing powder is to melt. This one here will actually take a tin foil pan to melt it in because we want to have it be in larger embellishment. So I have just a regular tin foil pan, and I'm going to add in just a little bit of the Wow base, and this is just a clear melted powder. Because my tag is red, I'm going to add in a little bit of cable car red to my tin can as well, my tin pan. I'm going to add a little bit of sparkle, and I think I'll just add in a little bit of gold. That might actually add on that tinge of vintage look that we have already. I have a little spoon here. I'm going to mix these all up just a teeny bit, and then now I'm going to heat them. And I'm actually going to use my melt gun, and I'm going to heat them from the bottom. So I have my, one thing I do have is a clothespin on here, because if I don't have it, it's going to get hot and I don't want to burn. So I'm going to have this right on, and I'm just going to allow this to melt. Now this is going to just take a few moments to melt, and while it's melting, a couple of things that I did want to show you about the ribbon was another piece that we had made. And I have here my mannequin that one of my instructors has made for us before we opened. We have all different types of ribbon on my mannequin. So now I already have this starting to melt in here. I don't know if you can see that already, but you can see how it's just starting to move. And we have a little bit of movement going on, and we're going to just continue to melt that. Now, once I have melted this, I'm going to pour it right into the mold that I have here. It takes just a moment for it to finish drying and actually be able to pop out. If I had a little ring handy, I could actually add the ring right into the mold, and that would create the ring that I showed you earlier. But for today, I'm not actually going to put a ring into it so that I can add this right to my little tag. Again, it's just another little bit of embellishment that you might want or need in your art. Now, if I add this to the top too much, it's going to start flying away. So we're just going to add just a little bit here just to start melting this just a teeny bit faster. We have just a little bit going here. And see how neat that is, that it starts to melt and move, and it just gets really molten inside there. These heat guns heat up quite a bit, and they can be really hot. You don't want to use your hair dryer, and you don't want to use this as a hair dryer. It will actually burn your hair. So you just want to make sure that when you are trying to melt embossing powder, use the proper tool and you'll be fine all the time. So I'm just going to move this back and forth just a little bit. I know you probably can't catch that, but I just want to catch the last little bit of the solids that are in there. I don't want it to kind of come out in a chunk. It's almost a little bit like cooking. You just have to work it just a little bit. All right, there we go. So it's nice and movable and nice and fluid. And I'm just going to pour that right into our mold, just like that. Have the heat still on it because I want that to run smoothly when I do it. I have poured that right into the mold until it's completely filled. Add that right on, finish that off, and then it's just going to take a moment for that to actually dry enough to pop right out. Now we have all sorts of different types of molds here at the store. This is just a small rose. We have some larger roses, carnations, posies. You can use anything for these. You do want to make sure that your molds are heat resistant when you use them. And you want to make sure that when you use an embossing powder, you use one that has been used for this type projects before. I've used some cheaper type of embossing powder before for this, and the glitter has just kind of melted away. A glitter embossing powder really needs to stand up to the heat in order to stay glittery. And that's something to note when you're making your purchase for glitter embossing powder. Now here you can see, let me see, give it just a little squeeze to see if it's already done, and it looks like it's just about, the sides are starting to pull away a little bit. And once you have that, you can actually see here I'm able to kind of pull that, and it looks like it's going to start popping right out. So I'm going to take that, flip it upside down, give it a little push. Oops, let's get a little bit. And you can see how beautiful that is, this rose right here. And you can add that right to your piece anywhere you might want. Now, I would definitely use a liquid glue to adhere that on. Just a little bit to the back side of your piece. Add that little glue. And I'm going to be very generous because this is a nice chunky piece and you don't want it to fall off. So I'm going to add that right onto my piece right there and allow that to set, and then it'll be all set and ready to go and give away to your cousin, friend, family, anybody you need. Thank you for watching Keep Creating. Remember, we love to show you different types of crafts. If you have something in mind that you'd like to see, please email me at keptcreations@gmail.com and we'll put it on a future show. Until then, I'm Kim Parkinson. Keep creating.